welcome to or welcome back to my channel. My name is Vicki, otherwise known as Heartland Knits, and this is where I like to share all the things I love to do: the knitting, the spinning, the sewing, the gardening. Today I have a sewing video for you all about haberdashery extras. These are all the little extras. They might do one job, but they do it really, really well. And so you can get along without them, but they just make sewing a little more pleasurable. Before I get started with that, let me tell you what I'm wearing. This is an Eve dress by Sew Over It Patterns. The fabric is from Joann's. It's a polyester crepe. This was my wearable muslin of this pattern. I pretty much made it just according to pattern. I think I sized one size down just because I'd heard so much that it ran kind of large. It's a really good red. I mean, it's just a polyester crepe, but it's a really good red. It's coming up a little oranger on the screen, but it's a very kind of blue-based red. So that's the kind of red that I like. Anyway, onward to the subject of the video, haberdashery extras. My first one I just really, really love, and that is this little thing. It is a buttonhole chisel, so it has a kind of sharp blade here, and it comes along with a little self-healing mat, so you don't have to get out your big mat. I know some people have them on their table all the time. I don't. I have to bring mine out extra, so it's nice just to have this little one to use. And it just works such a charm. You put this down on where your buttonhole is and cut down. You don't even need to do a lot of pressure unless it's something really thick like wool coating or something like that. And if it's a wider buttonhole, you can make two little passes. You can totally open a buttonhole with a seam ripper or whatever. This just makes it so much nicer. It just leaves a really nice clean cut on the buttonhole. So yeah. And I will put links to this and the other things down in the description box if you want to go and take a look at them. The second item I just got last winter, like at Christmas time, because I had started sewing lingerie and I needed a nice sharp little scissors to do some trimming of the fabric. And so I wanted a little applique scissors, so I got this little one. And I've always heard them called applique scissors, but I think they're also called duckbill scissors because they do have that sort of duckbill shape. This is one from Tula Pink, and it's a 4-inch one. I specifically looked for a small one just because it has this kind of raised profile, you know, the handles, and I just thought it would be easier for me if the blade was closer to my hands. That's what I'm used to more. And I specifically bought this to trim off laces and fabrics for sewing lingerie. Now I really, really want a larger size one. I think the other size is a 6-inch one because I find that I want to use this a lot more in my sewing for other things, but I don't want to use this one because I want to keep the blade really nice and sharp for the reason why I bought it, for the lingerie fabrics. So I do think I want to get the 6-inch version. I don't know if I'll get another Tula Pink one. This one is really nice. Or if I will get another brand. If you have a brand of scissors that you really like, I would love to hear about it, what you like about it or whatever. So if you comment about that, that would be really helpful. I mentioned right at the start about having glass-headed pins. They are my favorite kind of pins. You can use any kind of pins you want. This is another kind of pin which I have found is very helpful for a specific purpose, and that is this double-headed pin. I think these are specifically for quilting. They come in a little container, and I use these when I want to make sure that nothing will budge. Like if you're putting on a bodice onto a skirt and you want that side seam to match up perfectly, I usually pin it with a regular pin, and then I will put this through also. All my regular pins I pull when I am sewing. Don't ever sew over a pin, because you don't want to have it fly up and hit you in the eye. You don't want it to damage your machine. These pins, because they're in two places, I will slowly sew over. I generally hand crank it over like the first prong, and then when I get to the middle, then I'll pull it, and then I'll keep going. Ever since I've started using these, I get a perfect match whenever I am trying to like match a seam line or a dart line or something like that. They're just a really nice little thing. I have like 2 or 3 in my pin cushion that I use all the time, and the rest have just sat here. So one box like this will last you the rest of your life. Another thing that I have found that I use, you can get along without this, but I have found I really, really like it, is when I'm doing any kind of hand sewing, and I do hand sew all my hems of dresses and such. I don't mind hand sewing at all. But get yourself a little cake of beeswax, wax your thread. So wax your thread and then press the wax into your thread, because then it will stay embedded into the thread as you're sewing. It won't knot up on you, because that is a pain when you're hand sewing and you're, pulling the thread and it's knotting up on itself. It will not do that if you get this. And I just got this from a guy at the farmer's market who has bees and brings honey, and I asked him about it. He's like, yeah, I have some of those at home. So the next week he brought it, and yeah, I've been using it for years. I usually keep it sealed up in a little plastic bag that it came in, just so that it doesn't dry out so much. And yeah, I think I might have this forever too. And the last thing I have is something that is probably a little more necessary. Not this particular thing. When you're sewing, you do need something to mark things, mark notches, or mark, I don't know, where darts are or whatever. I usually put notches into the seam allowances, but when I can't, I use one of these pens, and it's a friction pen. I learned about this from watching Sean and Kittenish Behavior vlog, because she uses these, and so I got one, and it works a charm. So it just has a point, and you can mark it like onto the right side of things, and it will come out with heat. Now they always say check your fabric before you mark on your actual garment. I haven't had anything where it didn't come out, but you never know. it could happen. So like if I'm marking, I just did a lapped zip, and so I used this to mark kind of the line. I wanted like a 3/8 inch line so that I could follow that when I was doing the outside of it, and then you just press it and it goes away, and you get a nice straight line, and you don't have to like worry about fudging it at all. I do have tailor's chalk also, and I use that sometimes. These come in all different colors. I just have this one that's a blue, so if it's something darker, I do use white tailor's chalk on it. But do you have any little haberdashery that you just can't live without? I would love to know what it is. I might need it too. So please comment below, and also, if you are not already a subscriber, please do subscribe to the channel. You can also click the little bell to get notified of videos when they are posted. And yeah, until I see you next time, from my heart to yours, happy sewing!